Okay, you guys, so we are going to be doing some review today. It is our review day, so this is our last notes before you will take your test next time. So let's jump right into it, okay? So we have, on number 1, it's asking us to define all exponent rules that we've talked about in class. Okay, so we've talked about 5 exponent rules. Okay, so I'm actually going to write each of these out, and we are going to define all of them. So our first one is our product rule. Okay, our next one is going to be our quotient rule. Okay, just reminding you, whatever I write, you should write. Okay, let's take these two first. Okay, so our product rule is when exponents are being multiplied, meaning we have x squared times, they're being multiplied, x cubed. Okay, what this means, how we are going to get the answer is we add them. Okay, x to the power of 2 plus 3. Or in other words, I have 2 x's being multiplied right here. I have another 3 x's being multiplied right there. How many x's do I have? I add them together. Okay, I get x to the 5th. Okay, you can also think add exponents under product rule. Okay, we're adding the exponents. Okay, now we have our quotient rule. So this one, let's do, we have x to the 4th and it's being divided. Okay, in product rule, they were being multiplied. In quotient rule, they're being divided. Okay, x to the 4th divided by x squared. Okay, there's 2 ways we can think of this, right? We have 4 x's on top. We have 2 x's on bottom. Okay, and what happens when we have the same thing on top and bottom? They cancel. Okay, so what we get is x squared left on top. When we have nothing left on bottom, there's really that invisible 1 left on bottom. Do we have to write it? Nope, we do not. Okay, so our final answer is x squared. Okay, or we could have thought over here, just like in product rule, the opposite of 2 plus 3, we're adding them. Now in quotient rule, we are subtracting them. Okay, you can also think that too. That'll give you your same answer as over there. Okay, so under quotient rule, you can think subtract or cancel. Okay, you can either subtract your exponents or you can cancel. Okay, awesome. So those were our first 2. We'll probably have to take up some space over here. That's totally fine. So now let's do our 0 rule. Okay, 0 rule. So our 0 rule is anything to the 0 power is what? Okay, meaning what is x to the 0 power? What's 10 to the 0 power? And what is, let's say, 1,529,376 to the 0 power. What do all of these guys equal? Okay, they all equal 1. Because, write this down, okay, anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay, beautiful. That's our 3rd rule. Our 4th rule is our negative rule. Okay, so our negative rule, let's say we have, let's just say for fun, we have 3 times y to the negative 3rd power. Okay, so what this means is our negative exponent only attaches to what's in front. Okay, so if you guys remember, it's not attached to the 3, it's just attached to the y. Okay, and now there's always a denominator over 1. okay, and it moves it to the bottom. Okay, once it moves it to the bottom, it becomes positive. So our final answer of this would be 3 is left on top. Okay, on bottom, 1 times anything doesn't change it. It's always itself, so it is y to the third power. Okay, so in negative rule, you think switch. Perfect. Okay, our last rule is our power to power rule. Okay, and our power to power rule means that we have in parentheses, okay, you're always going to see some parentheses in power to power. If you don't, then it's probably not power to power. Okay, so let's say we have x squared to the power, so notice power to power. And what does this mean we are doing? Okay, we can think of it 2 ways. This means x squared is multiplying by itself 3 times, right? Because it's to the power of 3. Okay, and now you can say 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, just like product rule. I have 2 plus another 2 is 4 plus another 2 is 6. Okay, or you could have just said that 3 on the outside multiplies by the 2, and that also gives me x to the power of 6. Okay, so power to power, you want to think distribute or multiply. Those things mean the same thing. Okay, distribute or multiply. Beautiful. Okay, so we just defined out all of our rules. Okay, so you'll have them right there. So let's get into our examples. Okay, so all of these examples are going to help you on our test next time. Ooh, camera's a little shaky, sorry about that. Okay, so let's go to number 2. So number 2, first let's identify the rule, okay? And here's the thing about exponent rules. You will have to use multiple exponent rules, but what exponent rule do you see right off the bat? What's happening? Are they being multiplied, divided? Do you see any zeros? What's happening? Okay, so they're being multiplied. That means we're going to have to use our product rule. Okay, product rule means we are adding the exponents. Okay, but we can only add exponents with the same base, meaning I can only add the y's together and the x's together. Okay, so let's just take our x's first because x comes before y in the alphabet. Okay, so I have x to the third power plus, or being multiplied. Okay, so we will do what? Okay, 3 plus 4. Okay, product rule tells us to add the exponents. So we're going to add them right here. What is x to the power 2? Good job, 7. Okay, beautiful. So we got our x, we simplified those. Now let's take our y's. So we have 1y, okay, that's power of 1. Okay, it's being multiplied by 3 more y's, meaning we are going to add them, 1 plus 3. Okay, what will we get for our y's? Great job, that's going to be to the power of 4. Okay, now just to write your final answer, you just put them together. X to the 7th power, y to the 4th power. We know we're done because I only see one of each base. Okay, there's one x, there's one y. It is simplified. Good job, you guys. Okay, number 3. Okay, so let's do the same thing we did before with our x's and our y's. So I use green for my y's. Okay, so I know I can combine those, and then pink for my x's, so I know I can combine those. Okay, and let's just save the 4 and the 2 for last. Okay, but let's do our x's first again. So I have x squared right here times x cubed. Okay, what are we doing with the exponents when it's product rule? We're adding them to plus 3 x is going to be to the power of what? What's 2 plus 3? Great job. X is to the power of 5. Okay, now let's take our y's. So I have 1y again, multiplied by 2 more y's, okay, meaning y1 plus 2. Okay, what is y going to be to the power of? 3. Good job. Okay, so we have our x and our y's, but now we have more, right? We have this 4 and this 2. Okay, well, the only thing we need to do with those, 4 times 2, is multiply them. Those are coefficients, okay? Notice the multiplication sign in the middle, that just means 4 times 2. Okay, what is 4 times 2? Great job. It's 8. Okay, now we can put all of our pieces together for our final answer. Okay, so we always put our coefficient in front. 8 x to the 5th y cubed. Beautiful. And that is our final simplified answer. Okay? Awesome. Let's go to number 4. Okay, so this is where we might have to use more than one exponent rule. But what is one exponent rule that you can see right off the bat? I noticed that this is a fraction. There's a fraction bar in the middle. So that automatically tells me that I'm going to have to use quotient rule. Okay? Well, quotient rule, we're thinking either subtract or cancel the exponents, okay? So we have, I'm gonna actually rewrite this so we have the same things on top and bottom. So we have our coefficients in purple, right? We have 3 over 2. Okay, so now let's do our y's. Nope, x's, excuse me. Let's do our x's next. Okay, so I have 2 x's on top, x squared. Okay, I have 4 x's on bottom, x to the 4th. Okay, now let's do our y's. I have another 4 y's on bottom. Okay, I'm definitely going to need to extend this fraction bar out. Okay, and I have 1 y on top. Okay, so let's look at our variables first, our exponents. Okay, so look at the x's. How many x's can cancel? Meaning, do we have the same thing on top and bottom? Okay, I see that 2 x's can cancel. Okay, how many y's can cancel? Same thing on top and bottom. 1. Okay, now look at our 3 and our 2. Think of this as a fraction, okay, so don't even look at the rest. Can you reduce the fraction 3 over 2? Meaning, is there a number that goes into both 2 and 3 other than 1? Nope, there is not. So our final answer is going to be 3 over 2. Okay, that can't be reduced. Now, how many x's? Well, first let me ask you, is there anything else left on top? Nope, everything got canceled. So now let's look what's left on bottom. We have 2 x's or x squared. Okay, and we have 1, 2, 3 y's or y cubed. Okay, and that is our final simplified answer. 3 over 2x squared y cubed. Beautiful. Okay, let's look at number 5. I know there's not a ton of room here, that's okay. Okay, we're gonna do it the exact same way. So I have my coefficient on top, so I'm gonna write it over here. Coefficient on top, I have, let's do my x's first. Okay, so I have 4 x's on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have 1 y on bottom. Okay, and now I have, let's look at our x's and y's on bottom. So now y's in green, x is in pink. So I have 1, 2, and then I have 3 y's on bottom. This is gonna take a minute. Kelly, do you want me to come find you? I'll come find you, or I can email you when I'm done.
I just had to leave an hour ago for a meeting. Okay.
Okay, sorry, Kelly. Okay, so sorry about that. So we have, let's see, how many things can cancel? What's the same thing on top and bottom? Okay, I see that I have 2 x's that can cancel, and then I have a y that can cancel. It doesn't matter, you can take any of those y's. Okay, so let's see what's left. On top I have a 3, okay, which couldn't reduce down to anything, that's just 3. I have 2 x's, which is x squared, okay, that's all that's on top. And then on bottom I have 2 y's, so y squared. Okay, beautiful. And that is our simplified answer. Okay, let's go to number 6. Okay, so notice we have a few rules that we might actually need to do. So what's the very first thing that you might see in number 6? Okay, well, you might see the fraction bar. So that tells me quotient rule. Okay, but then I also see this to the 0 power. So that's going to tell me 0 rule. Okay, and let's get rid of that to the 0 rule first. What is anything to the 0 power? It is 1, excuse me. I need a drink really quick. Okay, so we can say that anything to the 0 power, meaning this b to the 0 power, it's only attached to that b, turns into a 1. Okay, so and when anything turns into a 1 and it's multiplied, you really can just get rid of it. So I'm going to rewrite this, okay, down here. So we have 4a squared left on top because that 1 doesn't change it, so we don't have to write it. Then I have a squared b to the 4th times 3b cubed on bottom. Okay, so let's simplify. So let's use pink for a's, let's use green for b's, and then we have our purple for our coefficients, 4/3. Okay, so I see that there are a's on top and a's on bottom, but what do you notice about these a's? Hint, are they exactly the same? Yes, they're exactly the same. We have a squared over a squared, okay? When anything is the same thing on top and bottom, it can cancel. So boom, we just got rid of those. Okay, what about my b's? They're both on bottom. Okay, so are we canceling them out? No. Okay, we are combining them using product rule. Ooh, that's a third rule we used in this problem. Product rule. Okay, so now I have 4 b's being multiplied right here. I have another 3 b's right here. How many b's do I have on bottom? Or 4 plus 3? I have b to the 7th power, right? Okay, beautiful. So we just simplified those. The last thing we need to worry about is our 4/3. Okay, turning this into a fraction, right, over here, we have 4/3. Can we reduce 4/3? Is there any numbers? Are there any numbers that go into 4 and 3? Nope. So that just stays 4/3. Beautiful, you guys. Okay, we are going to skip number 7. Okay, so skip number 7. We don't need that one. Let's look at number 8. Okay, number 8. I see a fraction bar. So that might tell us quotient rule. I see a 0, right? So that's going to tell me 0 rule. But then I also see negative exponents. Okay, that's going to tell me negative rule. Okay, sweet. So let's start simplifying. The first thing you might want to do is just like on the last one, I'm going to take this y to the 0 power, and that just turns into a 1. Okay, and when anything's being multiplied by 1, it doesn't change it. Okay, meaning we don't even need to write that 1. Okay, well the next thing I see negative exponents. Okay, I see a y to the negative 1, x to the negative 3, and y to the negative 2. Okay, they switch. Remember, whenever you have the negative rule, where is it? Negative rule, think switch. Okay, so this x to the negative 3 on bottom is going to move to the top. Same with this y to the negative 2. But then this y to the negative 1 is going to move on bottom. Okay, I know this is a whole huge mess, so I'm going to rewrite it for you guys. Okay, so I know that this x to the negative 3, remember it only grabs what it's right in front of. Okay, that moved to the top. Okay, so I have x to the positive 3 now. Okay, y to the negative 2 moved to the top, so y to the positive 2. Okay, I see that a 3 was already there, times that 1, which we don't need to write. Okay, and then this 2x squared was already there. Okay, and then the y to the negative first power, which just becomes y to the first power. We don't need to write that one. Boom, that is rewritten. Okay, so now we can start to simplify. So I see that I have some x's on top and bottom, some y's on top and bottom, and then a 3 times a 2 right here. Okay, let's do our x's first. So I have 3 x's on top. I have 2 on bottom. Okay, I know that 2 of those are going to cancel out. How many will be left on top? Or 3 minus 2? Just 1, right? Okay, same with the y's. I have 2 y's on top, 1 y on bottom. 1 is going to cancel because they share 1. How many will be left on top? Or 2 minus 1? Just 1 y. Beautiful. Okay, the only thing that's left on bottom is this 3 times 2. Those are coefficients. Okay, that's easy peasy. What is 3 times 2? And that is, whoops, write it in the same color, 6. We only see one of each base, right? 1x, 1y, 1, 6. So we are done. That is simplified. Okay, let's do number 9. Okay, so number 9, I see, first of all, I see a fraction bar. So that's going to tell me quotient rule. Okay, I see a negative exponent, which is going to tell me negative rule. Okay, so let's get rid of that negative first thing. Okay, so this negative 2 grabs the a, what's only right in front of it, and then it switches, right? That's going to move up to the top. Okay, so now we can rewrite everything. So I'm going to rewrite what was already on top. So we add a 2b to the cubed, 2b cubed times 4, a to the 4th, b cubed again. Okay, that was all already up there, and then this a to the negative second moved and became positive. Okay, and the only thing that's left on bottom is this 4 and b to the 4th. 4, b to the 4th. Okay, now we can start simplifying. So I see some a's on top, and then I see some b's on top, but also on bottom. Okay, so let's simplify the top first. Okay, so let's combine our a's first. So I have 4 a's being multiplied right here. I have another 2 a's being multiplied right there. How many a's do I have on top? A to the 6th. Okay, now let's look at our b's. I have 3 b's. We're not even going to worry about the b on bottom yet. We have 3 b's right here and another 3 b's right there. How many b's do I have on top? I have also 6. Okay, now let's do, actually I'm gonna stick with, I'm just gonna keep 2 times 4, and then on bottom we have 4 times b to the 4th. Okay, So I'm not even going to worry about multiplying those yet. Okay, before I move on, do you see anything that's the same on top and bottom? Great job. That 4 over 4, that's the same thing on top and bottom. Okay, so now I only have one A, so I don't need to simplify that with anything, but now I have B's that can be simplified. So I have 6 B's on top. Okay, this is where we're thinking quotient rule. 6 B's on top, 4 on bottom. So 4 of those are going to cancel out, right? Just like we did up here. Okay, so 4 are going to cancel out. How many will be left on top? Okay, how many B's left on top? We have B squared, or 2 B's. Oops, sorry. Okay, that A is already simplified, so A to the 6th. Okay, we got rid of the 4's. We got rid of that 4 on bottom. So now our only thing left is that 2. Okay, nothing was left on bottom. So we don't even need to write the over 1. We can just say, whoop, there's our simplified answer. Great job, you guys. Okay, last example, number 10. Okay, so I see parentheses. So this automatically tells me power to power. Okay, I also see a negative, so I know I'm gonna have to use my negative rule. And I also see a fraction, which tells me quotient, but I'm not gonna write that out right now. Okay, the first thing I wanna do, I wanna take this power to a power, and I wanna get rid of my parentheses. And how I do that is you multiply by both things inside. Okay, so I'm gonna rewrite this. So A to the 3 times 3, remember power to a power, we're multiplying. 3 times 3 is what? 9. Okay, now we have B. What is negative 1 times 3? Remember, a negative times a positive is negative 3. Okay, now I'm just gonna rewrite the top. Okay, 2A to the negative 4th, B cubed. Okay, now we can start moving things if we need to. So I see that I have some negative exponents that need to switch places. So that B to the negative 3rd and the A to the negative 4th. Remember, it just grabs what's in front. So the B moves to the top, A moves to the bottom. So we can rewrite this. What was already on top was that A times 2, that B cubed was already there, and then that B cubed became positive, moved up from the bottom. Okay, on bottom we had an A to the 9th, and then that A to the 4th. Okay, so we're not done simplifying. I see some A's that need to be combined and some B's that need to be combined. Okay, so I am going to combine the A's on bottom before I worry about the A on top, okay? So let's combine the A's on bottom. So I have 9 A's right here. I have another 4 A's right there. How many A's do I have? 9 plus 4. I have A to the 13th power. Okay, I still have an A on top. Okay, and a 2, but let's combine our B's now. I have 3 B's right here, another 3 B's right here. Add them together. What's 3 plus 3? B to the 6th. Okay, are we done? We are not done because I still see 2 A's. Okay, so this tells me quotient rule. Okay, so I have 1 A on top. I have 13 on bottom. Okay, only 1 is going to cancel out because only 1 will be on top and bottom. So how many A's are left on bottom, or 13 minus 1? A to the 12th. Beautiful. So that got rid of that A. Okay, now the only thing left on top is that 2B to the 6th. Beautiful. And that is our answer. Okay, you guys, we are all done with our review notes. Okay, they should look like mine. They will be linked on Canvas for you. Okay?